Hello everyone and welcome to the Carat Clash, the second ever open entry global Umamusume tournament, and also one with way too many entrants. How are you doing, Jesu?
We're doing good. So, like you're mentioning, yesterday we had a solid 81 player, kind of tournament that was capped out pretty early to try and make sure everything was all good. But today it is no cap. Okay, we'll probably see a little bit of Oguri, but no cap on the players and no cap on the trainers because I think we got a solid 162 gamers pulled up to try and win that rice shower plushie, which I know it's the talk of the town. Everyone's trying to get that rice shower plushie for themselves. Even people in the chat that are like, I didn't enter, but can I get it? And we're like, maybe not. You might have to find that one on your own. But I'm hanging out here on the mic with Saya. Of course, it's your boy J2 to bring you guys some more Umamusume 1v1 PvP action.
Yep. And this is really fixed settings. It's normal mood.
Yes.
It's fall, it's sunny, it's firm, and it's only one racetrack, Tokyo Turf, 2,400 meters medium left, to be precise. Very precise. You got to make it to the top 3 to move on here in this tournament. If you don't, you're eliminated. And you watched a big tournament yesterday, I guess. What are some of the lessons you learned from that?
Some of the lessons I learned, dude, debuffers are cursed. We're going to be seeing them in global, right, as champions meeting, kind of comes around. But for today, right, that's probably not something we're going to have to worry about too much because skill points, spent on debuffing is stuff that you're not using for stamina regen. It's not stuff you're using for increased acceleration or velocity. And because you only get one Umamusume, it counts even more, right? It's one less thing to have to worry about, right? Because I'm assuming most folks are mostly just going to be like, okay, I need my horse to go as fast as possible. I'm not worried about slowing everyone else down because I got to make it into that top 3 cut, like you're saying, right? But especially because, you mentioned it earlier, right? We have every single condition already kind of fixed and announced to the players well ahead of time. Whereas yesterday, we were kind of keeping it fast and loose, right? It was any distance within long, and we were rolling it throughout each of these, random events. So it could have been 2,400 meters or, 2,500, right? Which is pretty close to what we're doing today in terms of stamina requirements. Or it could go all the way up to 3,600, which, 1.5 times as long. The stamina requirements are just like a little bit more crazy, right? So the prep work is a little bit more fast and loose. But for today, 2,400, all the conditions are set. So I'm curious how these gamers are going to be min-maxing for, knowing exactly what's going to be happening every single round.
Yep. And there's a lot of different ways, right? There's the green skills. There's ways to specifically select for firm. There's plenty of different things you can do. But speaking of specific specific horses, who are you looking at as the character to beat?
Ooh, characters to beat, right? I feel like in PvP, we just see Oguri Cap so much, even though, maybe she's not specifically for medium like today. Maybe she's not, best in class pick when you know exactly where you're going to go. I feel like for so many players, like they had heard so often, especially from, global players or folks who have played previously, like, oh, Oguri Cap is like the meta pick. Like this is the character that you should get if you want to, have a really strong horse that kind of does everything, right? So even though she's not maybe, her starting skill lineup or her aptitudes aren't like, okay, best in slot, for medium in particular, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of them just because so many new players were recommended this horse. But as far as, maybe medium specific Umas, I think, a lot of folks were saying, all right, Tachyon has some pretty good skills that are focused towards the middle distance. Major Orion, we hear her brought up as a parent a lot, but even in long distance yesterday, we were seeing a couple of her even outside of those pools matches. So still pretty good as far as the load of her skills in the mid-range distance, and the acceleration unique skill is pretty strong too. But a character we barely got to see yesterday, and I hope we get to see a little bit more of today, TM Opera O. Also pretty solid skill set for this medium distance. And in general, she just has a lot of, solid generic speed skills to keep her, at the front of the pack.
Yeah, and there's one thing that I think will be common with a lot of these horses, and it's that there is a favorite strategy, a strategy that seems so popular that there's already one race that has started with 9 in that slot, and it is the Pace Chasers. Let me know. With no one surprised, it's the Pace Chasers. So that is what people are looking at. And taking a peek at our stream lobby, not revealed so far, only 3 out of 9, of course, in the lobby at the moment. 3 for 3 on pace chasers. What do you think?
So, yesterday we were seeing a pretty solid variety of strategies, right? I feel like the only one we really didn't see super represented was that front runner strategy, which makes sense, right? When you're going from 2,500 meters to 3,600, it's scary, I think, to put yourself in the position of, okay, I'm using one of these strategies that is a little bit less stamina efficient, right? Especially if maybe you're geared towards 2,500, like that 3,000 range, and then all of a sudden you go to the Spinoi week wheel and your next race is 3,600. You're like, okay, let me have my Uma wait at the back a little bit, at the potential risk of being blocked, but, save up that stamina so she's not sputtering out in the last leg. But, we have 2,400 as this fixed distance for today. So I think that front running or, pace chasing strategy is probably not going to be quite as bad, right? You can know where your stamina thresholds are going to be. And again, not being blocked is one less thing for you to have to worry about once you hit race and, head on off to the paddocks.
Yeah, and also taking a look, we have 3 Ogre Caps, 2 Tokai Teos, and 1 Agnes Tachon. It is looking like those unique skills, especially Ogre Caps, right? Of course, inherited by a lot of different Umas, but on the horse herself as well is going to be quite the threat.
Yeah, she's going to be spooky. I mean, not only do you have fans of Cinderella Grey, like folks who have been watching that season, and folks who have been suggested this horse, like from previous JP server players, like I would not be surprised if Ogre Cap was the most common horse that we see in like each and every single one of these phases.
Yeah, 7 out of 9. So we should be able to take a look at the roster very shortly.
Okay.
And it looks like Group A is already concluded quite efficiently. Shout out to Brickbat, Akrith, and K-Tool2N. It's an Ogre Cap, Reischauer, and TM Opera O advancing from that group.
Ooh. All right. So we're already getting our first top 3 cuts as far as these pools matches are going. And once again, we have 163 attendees, right? So there's no cap to the gamers that are pulling up for Carat Clash. So we got a lot of folks to go through here. Hope you guys are excited.
Yep. And just waiting for the last 2 people here.
All right.
If it does take too long, unfortunately, the DQs will have to come in. Need to check who we're missing, but other than that, I guess, any other thoughts on this tournament?
On this tournament, I think the players are probably quite happy if they were playing yesterday and they rolled really bad luck with their moods. So it being locked to normal, I think, as a stabilizing factor, there's a bit of a thrill of the chase because you're like, I could low roll really bad and get owned in some of these races, especially in single elim, like top 1 makes it out. Or I could be the one person in my paddock, in my group that has like, great mood, right? So you're kind of playing with the luck of the draw there. Thankfully, it's one less thing for the gamers to have to worry about today. But instead of fighting 2 other trainers, you got to fight 8 other trainers, right? Just to try and make it out of pools. So we shall see. Again, I'm really curious to see how the horse choice in particular, or kind of, you've already kind of pointed out, Saya, how the strategies that people are loading into the paddock and loading into these room matches have already changed so drastically from yesterday's kind of tournament. So I'm curious to see what the landscape of Umas that are actually running, if that looks any different, especially with the lack of debuffs that we'll be seeing.
Yep. Just waiting for this pool to be finalized here. Just waiting on potentially 2 people to join.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, and I'm looking at the attendee list as well, but we have a little bit of downtime. We have our previous champion from yesterday, Sawara. Who else am I seeing? There's so many folks as I'm scrolling through. The blue one, shout out the blue one. I was like, dog, I am not super experienced with Uma PvP. Can you give me the rundown? He was like, I got you. He gave me the whole, he pinged me in it with Discord. He was like, okay, this is what you're looking for in 1v1. This is what you're looking for in 3v3. These are kind of the strong Umas that you should expect to see, and some skills that are definitely going to help. I'm like, you're my goat, man. I appreciate that, Heavy. Who else we got? Let me scroll on through.
I remember Black Knight.
Oh, yeah.
That's who took me out in yesterday's tournament. And I was rooting for them, but they ran straight into Sawara. So, well, it happens.
That is how it goes, unfortunately. You're like, oh, okay. I've done the same thing, I think, at like offline events where it's like, oh, okay, I get knocked into loser side and I'm like salty for 2 minutes, right? And then I lock in, do my losers run, whatever. And then I see the person who knocked me out like still playing. And then like, I'm like, okay, this set was so long ago. And then I start cheering them on too, like while I'm waiting for my match. So, it's nice to have a change of pace, but then also seeing them lose, you're like, no, dude, my change of heart just happened. I just started cheering you on. No.
Well, 1 minute till start time. It looks like people are not available, unfortunately. But as we move through the rounds, there will be actual participants, so it should be a lot smoother.
Yeah. All good, all good.
But still, 7 people in this race. I guess once we get through to seeing how they are, what do you expect? Do you expect everyone to really have that super built rank A, not just wit farming, but all-rounded stats? Swinging Maestro, Hydrate, Pace Chaser? Do you think someone's going to mix in some debuffs in there?
I think, okay, so I was thinking about this a little bit yesterday as we were kind of ending that stream, and I was like, I feel like most people are just going to build for themselves and try and go as fast as possible. That being said, I think it would be really funny if some folks were like, okay, I don't have enough time to grind out sparks. I don't have the greatest like parents on my friends list. So let me see if I can just like build up a debuffer and then die in round 1, but make it like the most funny race possible. I think with 163 players, I would not be surprised if there was at least one person who was like, I'm literally just entering to cause chaos. Like it's not about my bracket run. It's not enough that I should succeed, others should fail type of beat. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, I think Swinging Maestro I think is so accessible for most folks because it really just requires you to have a super creek that you're following, right? Even if you didn't end up rolling her, I think there are so many like coveted kind of friendless spots that people are saving for in MLB Super Creek and training. So Swinging Maestro kind of ends up being this like balancing factor for stamina. But otherwise, I don't know, a lot of folks are also saving up for Kitasan Black, right? That banner is coming out, I think, in like a couple days, give or take. So I don't know if a lot of folks have optimized for today. I think it's more so like, okay, we'll go with the best that we got, but we're still saving carrots for the best speed card in the game. But before she drops, let's see how good we can do.
All right, we're heading into our first race. It's round 1, Group B here. And we're seeing quite the mix of everything, except for the fact that almost everyone's a pace chaser.
That's insane. I was like, oh, all the moves are the same. And then I'm like, wait, that is part of the tournament settings. It's going to be like that the entire time. Dude, Aqua Fjord is a insane NPC name, by the way. Some of these, like, I know you guys have seen 1 Inch of Love. Aqua Fjord is pretty good. Tide and Flow, that's clean, bro.
Yeah, anyone you're interested in taking a deeper peek at?
Let me see. So as we go on through, yeah, there's a few Ogre casts. We're not surprised about that. A couple Tokai Teos and the Agnes Tachyon, like we mentioned. Who do we have in these bottom paddock slots? I know we were waiting for a little bit, so one of them is a NPC. And then we got another Tokai Teo. Damn, okay. I mean, no one in particular that I kind of want to look at here. And, these are some pretty high-ranking Umas to start things off, right? Like, almost all of them are A-rank already from the get-go.
Yeah, pretty well trained it looks like. But of course, my eyes are on 777 Casino God 777.
Wait, that's so good.
The #1 favorite. And someone who's actually in my Uma club. This
for real?
is an Omega Striker who's there. But
we'll
see.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right, best of luck to the gamers. There's a couple NPCs, so, making it to the top 3, consider yourself blessed that there were a couple DQs here, but you still got to make it across the finish line before these other 6 gamers. So best of luck to our first round.
All right, let's get into things.
Yeah, let's see it. You guys are going to like the stream layout, by the way. Shout out to Saya was setting this up over the past few days. I love this. Look, the setup is so clean.
Okay.
Yes, if you guys ever get lost on who is what, especially with a lot of dupes, you can check out which character is which and what position they are in the top, top middle indicator by looking in the bottom left. It's pretty good.
Yeah, getting into this Tokyo Turf 2,400 meters, and you gotta hope for no late starts, no rushed. This is not campaign. You do not get that passive bonus, and that lack of 400 extra wit might come in to haunt you here.
Yeah, it's scary. Like thinking about how much lower your skill activation ends up being in the PvP mode. Of course, being careful of the stamina thresholds as well. But you know what? I've talked these gamers' ears off about this more than enough times. I'm sure they know about the stamina part. Let's see. Off to the races for our first gamers here, waiting for the start. Okay, no late starts. Clean beginning from everyone, including the NPCs.
Oh wait, there's one late start actually. It's the
Oh really? Okay.
It's the one we're kind of spectating here. I believe that's number 4 goalie. But
okay.
Right now we're seeing a huge lead from the NPC horse, probably a front runner at the moment, but will soon be overtaken by the many Tokai Teos and the Ogre Caps. It's like that one video with the Major McQueen and the 3 million gold chips.
Oh my god, that's actually insane. The chat was jokingly asking, hey, can you bet on the NPC? But, I mean, that front runner is kind of doing a lot of work right now. But still, so early on into the race, like you mentioned, it feels like 95% of these gamers have already, set it to that pace chaser strategy. We have Tokai Teo kind of taking the late surger lead. But right now, in the middle of the pack, it's Ogre Cap, Ogre Cap, Ogre Cap, Agnes Tachyon, Tokai Teo, Aqua Fjord, and another Tokai Teo just waiting and biding their time as these gold stamina skills proc.
And right now, we're also looking at the reason why Beeline Burst is a little bit awkward. It just procced in the middle of the race. That's not when you want it when you're derp and you are not in the greatest spot. But right now, it's such a close pack at the front, and the Ogre Cap, that's the furthest ahead, might actually have problems proccing the ult skill and fall behind in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Positioning and just being such a tricky thing to try and figure out, especially when you're aware that so many other folks are kind of running very similar strategies to you. So do you stay the course or do you try and swap things up in response as we head into this final corner, the last straightaway? Agnes Tachyon taking the lead now.
Yep, Agnes Tachyon taking the lead, but you got to watch out for the Ogre Cap right behind there. As Beeline Burst procced, running forward is 777 Casino God's Ogre Cap, but there's a Sky High Teo step from Ray, pushing forward here. Agnes Tachyon still looking good, but there's the Teo from the outside, but there's 3 horses fully in the lead. A dominant top 3 performance to move on here.
Oh my goodness, Tokai, Teo, Agnes Tachyon, and Ogre Cap just barely inching it out at that final 50 meters, but Tokai Teo taking quite the lead in the end there. Look, it was just barely ahead between 2nd and 3rd place, but as far as you guys are concerned for the qualifications, it doesn't matter for them. As long as they made it into that top 3, they're all good to go into that next round.
Yeah, unfortunately for the ones cheering for the NPC horses, did not get it done. But it was close, it was close. And top 3 advancing Ray, Scandals, and Beanzu. It was close there too, right?
Yeah. I think especially towards the end there, so I like that you mentioned the Beeline Burst kind of proccing really early, not doing too much, because for those of you who maybe aren't super familiar with like the Uma race mechanics, up until you get into the last spurt, you are not accessing your, final top speed. Right? It's like capped at a certain point to maintain position with the rest of the Umas, depending on what strategy you actually chose. But, you're kind of limited in that sense. And then once you get into that final spurt, that's when, your top speed actually ends up getting access. So getting extra speed in those, in the early leg or in the middle leg doesn't really end up doing too much when you're already, not at your cap, if that makes sense. But it activating towards the end there for the Ogre Cap ended up being very helpful. But unfortunately not being helpful enough. I think that actually procced on the Oguri that just barely didn't make it into that top 3 cut. So a heartbreaker.
Yeah, quite unfortunate. But with those players moving on, this bracket's gonna get a little scarier, I think. Especially later on when there's a lot more scary horses and a lot more people in each bracket here. And we didn't really see too many Ogre Cap skill procs, right?
Sorry, I'm so taken aback because Natty Fangirl in the chat.
That's Golden Mount. That's 777 Casino God.
That's 77. Okay, because they just barely didn't. Okay, well, just barely is crazy when the difference was 9 lengths. But they were 4th place. But then I'm looking in the chat and they're saying, wait, I put in the wrong Ogre. I put in my 0 recovery skill Ogre Cap on the track. No.
And we can see it right here.
Oh, brother, no. That hydrate is not going to save you, dog. I do not see swinging Maestro. That's like the great equalizer.
No swinging Maestro. It is cooked, unfortunately.
It's so over. NT. I mean, that's how these things go.
That is indeed how things go. The rest of the rounds are being reported as well. Yeah, Brickbat taking the aforementioned Group A. Snowda, Scorpio, and Bedford making it out of Group J. And Atsuneko, Juan Vivo, and Crossalter making it out of Group K. A lot of results coming in, but we'll see how some of the more known names from yesterday's tournament do when we get more of the results coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you were able to make it in the long distance yesterday, there were quite a few factors that have differentiated going into today. Again, we've brought it up a few times. There are no, well, actually, we saw a few debuffs kind of going out on the track over there. I don't know if that was the NPCs or some folks just taking, one or another during their career runs where they had some extra skill points, maybe at the end, right? But it's not going to be quite as big of a factor as we saw yesterday. And also just, again, we have all of the factors just like so set in stone. So you kind of mentioned the green skills, right? Which generally during career mode or during training or in different formats, you're like, oh, this isn't going to matter for me. Left versus right-handed, I'm like 50-50ing on whether or not my skill is actually going to be useful for this race. But knowing, 2400, we know the conditions, we know the direction as well. Like, I don't know. We shall see if the, utilization of the green skills actually ends up being something that matters, or if they're still going to save those skill points for, more generally applicable skills. We'll see.
Yeah. And Firelight V, that's one of the goats of Omega Strikers, pointing out it is kind of like Duck Life. That's quite the app comparison. I think a lot of people have made that comparison. The gameplay loop, you're just watching them race, and sometimes you win.
I've heard a lot about Duck Life, man.
Yeah, keep going. Wait,
I have actually never played Duck Life in my life. Maybe this is like a self-report. If this is like a American classic, like might be.
I think
it's a generation. No, it's so over. Don't worry. I played Oregon Trail. I'm like putting my. I'm like, wait. I'm cool. I'm chill. I'm not a zoomer. I missed peak. I believe you guys. I might have to go back and play it, but I still gotta play Umamusume, man. There's not enough time in the world to play all the games I want to play.
Okay. I just gotta contact the person helping me report real quick. So, anything else you want to talk about right now?
Let's see. I just saw a bunch of horses. Like, I have the stream over on the side. That is quite a few laughing horses on the screen. Combo level 3 achieved. Thank you for the bits. Much appreciated. I don't think we have a match arena for you guys to contribute to, but you can cheer on all of these gamers in the chat if you see them heading up the stream, because everybody who has made it out of their round 1 will now be on stream. So you will see all the rest of the matches as we coordinate these gamers to get on into the lobby. Again, we whittled down, what was it? How many rounds did we have? So if it's
like
9
18
each
pools.
pod. Yeah, okay, yeah. Damn. Okay. So we went from like what 163 to like 54-ish, something like that. Oh wait. Yes, because it was top 3. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm like trying to do the math in my head, but it's like I told Atkins yesterday, as soon as you were like on camera or on broadcast, the ability for a commentator to do math like drops from 90% to like 10%. It's like swapping to a style you have like G aptitude in. Like, it's just impossible.
Okay, and also, this tournament yesterday's another contrast, or maybe a similarity, is that 1/3 of the players in each lobby move on, right?
That's true. That's true.
It feels different. I think the players have been like, oh, top 3 moves on. You just don't have to place bottom 6. It's still 1/3. You still have to be in the top third. It's not easy.
Exactly. You're like, oh, top 3, I have so many more opportunities. And then you look at your lobby, you're like, bro, look at my first favorite. I'm cooked. You see like 3 Ogre caps that are all like A rank. You're like, I don't know about this one, bros. We'll see.
I'm looking at Group E right now. In Group E, an NPC horse got 3rd.
Okay, so somebody asked that in chat. They were like, okay, if an NPC places in the top 3, what do we do? I'm gonna leave that up to the Bestie and Slot team and Saya to determine if they just like let it trickle down to the 4th place, like the 4th player. But I think it would be really funny if they get shot. Yeah. And they're like, all right, sorry, buddy, we gotta put in an NPC in your name. We said top 3.
For the sake of the progressions, we do have to move 4th place along, but I will publicly shame them. Lukimana, Lukimana, you lost to an NPC horse.
That's crazy. That's actually great. You're like moving on with shame and you are living on borrowed time. Like this is the closest thing we have to a PvP alarm clock. Like you woke up and you're like, damn, I had a nightmare. I lost to an NPC and didn't make it out of round 1. They're like, yeah, a nightmare. Yeah, that's definitely did not happen. That's so sick. That's how it goes though. Don't worry, you still get your round 2, so you can fight for your life and try to, you know, reprove yourself. If you make it into round 3, I think all things are forgiven.
Oh, and I'm seeing the Group C reports coming in, and I'm not surprised by that result. Number 1 was Lucas441, and that individual has been grinding. Like tens of millions of fans. First place with Agnes Tachon, and a B+ as well, not an A.
All right, that is crazy. We were talking about Tachyon kind of being this pretty solid pick for the mid distance considering her skill loadout like earlier on today, but you know, 10 million fans is a little crazy. Like I was you know, a friend showed me a screenshot of his like JP Umamusume like guild spreadsheet where they're like, okay, you guys, this is your weekly quota for fans. I didn't realize it got that serious, by the way. I didn't understand like how deep the rabbit hole goes for the salary men playing Umamusume. But damn, bro, he might have been on that spreadsheet and I didn't even realize. That's a real grinder.
See.
W Lucas, W me. So true.
We're just looking at the final few results coming in. We just need a G, H, and L, and a few more actually reported on Start GG, which we're working on right now.
Fan count goes hard on the 3rd scenario because you do a ton of races in that scenario onwards. Which, is that Mant? Is that the 3rd scenario? You guys can let me know. What I've heard about Mant is 1, everybody hates Mant, and 2, it's the one where you like just keep racing even though there's like a, what's it called? Debuff for doing 3 races in a row, but you just tank it because it's like what the scenario encourages. Okay, I am right. All right, got it. You race so much. I've heard I'm not supposed to be excited for this scenario, but I'm so curious. I just want to like understand why people hate it so much. Who's your favorite Uma Jadesu? So it's funny you ask that because a friend recently hit me up. So before Uma Global dropped and before they had like gotten into the series, I was like, guys, I know you don't watch or like play Umamusume, but like fill out this order just based on the vibes, like just based on the race outfits. Like I'm curious what your thoughts are. So they filled it out, and then once they had watched the anime, they refilled it out. They're like, oh, okay, it's funny to see how things have like swapped and changed. And then when Global dropped, they hit me up yesterday and they're like, oh, so when are we going to redo our rankings? And I'm like, that's a great question, because every day I play Global, like I was telling Mike T this, I was like, every day I play Global, like I have an opportunity to play a new horse's route or like a wandering support card changes my opinion of a different Umamusume that I just like never thought about before, like past their initial design. So all this to say, like, who is my favorite Uma? It's Special Week, closely followed by Buena Vista and Espoir City. But if you had asked me like a top 10, I feel like, okay, top 10 is pretty solid for me. Top 5 is quite solid. But anything past that, like everyone is just, you know, they're gradually rising up the ranks in my brain just because like I'm finally getting to experience the content myself. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. The Group H is also a group that has a lot of my clubmates in it. It was
oh, for real?
Bosher, Lilybun, Blades Valor, who had to DQ. But Bosher and Lilybun comfortably taking the top 2 spots quite respectively there. And Ferns taking 3rd to move on as well. And with how progressions work, I'm pretty sure you generally stay with your pool. No, actually, you get split up. Okay. So once you're out of your
so they end up on the other side.
Yeah, once you're out of your pool, you keep getting split up. So you can run away from some of the demons instead of having to chase them along.
Thank God. Imagine you were like, oh, thank God I survived against this person. And then you have to do another top 3 cut with like 6 more folks that made it out of their pools. It's scary out here. And I'm catching up on chat, and I'm seeing some of your guys' favorite Umas. I see Rice Shower. I've seen Buzz Lightyear shelf. That's not a... Wait a minute. I'm looking over to the side. I don't see no damn Buzz Lightyear. Maruzensky and Nakayama Festa. Dude, I had no opinion at all on Aoi Kiryuin, like Kiryuin Trainer and Happy Meek, but I agree, W. Like, they've taken hold in my heart now that I've played through their friend card, like event stuff. Big Manhattan Cafe fan. True. Thank God that Nice Nature is getting split up from me. He played full debuff. You guys lost to a debuffer. You guys let the debuff Nice Nature get move on to top 3? Oh, brother, man. That is cooked. The joke of Nice Nature, Forma del Rude. True. Damn, that's crazy. They get... So, we were talking about debuffers earlier as if they would like only survive one round and then just perish. Now you gotta survive evil Nice Nature twice in a row. That might be interesting to see, because we're definitely gonna stream it. So
all right, so for those in the tournament watching, we're going to go through all the round 2s from in alphabetical order. We're gonna go from S all the way to whichever the last one is. I know there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
S, T, U, V, W, X. And
so, we can also check it out on the exclamation point bracket if you guys want to follow along that as well. Oh, never mind. That might be a different link.
Exclamation mark horse. Exclamation mark.
Oh,
horse.
Carat. Yeah, horse. Okay. There we go. Yes. Start.gg/Carat. Yes. Perfect. Are these tournaments going to become a weekly thing? I think both for Plus Frames GG and Bestie and Slot, we're, trying things out. Especially both of them wanted to make sure that we get this bracket out before Kita-san banner drops, because it's going to be another kind of like big power gap, especially with like one of the strongest support cards in the game. So I think we shall see how things go. I know especially the summer is busy for a lot of folks. There's a lot of fighting gamers out there that might have some busy weekends, but we shall see. If you guys are enjoying it, make sure to let the TOs that are hosting it for you guys and being super kind, let them know that you're enjoying the UMA action, because that'll definitely help if you want to see another installment of either of these events.
Yeah, and if we do another installment, it will be a different rule set. It will be something else to strive for, and I think I personally really like just the fixed rule set. I think it's very similar to Champions Meeting in the JP server and the other servers. Definitely not the same, and we might also make it so that you can bring more than one UMA, but it's definitely going to be a fixed rule set.
Yeah, it's cool to see how the strategies kind of like swap around. And you're mentioning Champions Meeting, right? Where, even the conditions, the distance, whether it's, turf or dirt, et cetera, are so different each and every time. So hopefully you guys are excited about the, our pseudo Champions Meeting that we got going on here before that drops for Global.
Yep. And this lobby's filling fast. When it's made by people who are advancing, they're hungry. Everyone's in the lobby. We're ready to go already. And wow, yeah, this is also a lobby where I am very familiar with a lot of these players. There's Brickbat, there's Lukimana, who we called out earlier. And there's a good variety of Umas in this one. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, I'm excited to see it. We saw a lot of Ogre accounts. We saw a couple Tokai Teos before as well. And I think one of the Agnes Tachyons too. But, if we got a little bit more variety, I'm not upset about it. I'm trying to see as many Umas as possible. It was funny because yesterday in the matchmaking channel, someone was like, oh, do I play my best horse or do I play my Oshi? And it was literally just a chain of 20 people being like, play your Oshi.
Yeah. And it does seem like that's the case here, right? Look at the variety.
Ooh. Damn. Okay, I think we have a few dupes here, but we're seeing. Wait, is this the debuff Nice Nature? Can we check the skills on the Nice Nature real quick? Is this the debuffer that was terrorizing that round number 1?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Are you serious? That is so toxic. Okay, I kind of want them to make it onto round 3 now because it would be the funniest thing possible.
Yeah, do you think they will?
I don't know, man. Some of these characters are looking juiced. They already made it past what was a pretty stacked round number 1. So Brickbat coming in with the Ogre Cap, Tibbs on McQueen, Rice Shower coming in from Akrith, Ferns, the Demon, coming in with the debuff Nice Nature. Luki Mana, like you were mentioning earlier, also has a McQueen, Smell with the Ogre Cap. What else we got over at the bottom? This is Gyu with the Tokai Teo. And then we got Yellow on Agnes Tachyon and Too Soon with the Agnes Tachyon as well. So pretty good variety, like you mentioned before we headed on in.
And I want to take a peek at the Agnes Tachyons as well, actually.
Yeah.
Let's head on over to those last 2 slots. Not too many debuffs, but
yeah,
we're seeing the hesitant pace chasers. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah, especially because we know that, you know, even in the previous match, like so many of the trainers had their Umas going in that pace chaser, right? So even if it's just like a slight debuff, like, you know, white skill debuff, like it could matter a lot if this Agnes Tachyon is able to take the lead.
Yep.
Don't expose my wit farm build. So true. She works out at the library, bro.
Yeah, I saw that pick as well. Holy.
It's so good.
Gold Chip's just looking. And then there's the redraw of Agnes Tachyon. But we're heading into this one. Who are you predicting to make it far?
You know, in my heart of hearts, I love Meijiro McQueen. So I'm cheering on Luki Mana and I'm cheering on Tibbs right now. And I think it would be so funny if Ferns made it for another round. No hate to any of the other gamers here. You know, Brickbat, Akrith, and the rest of you gamers fighting for your life. It's all love. But I got a little bit more love in my heart for the chaos.
Yep. And as we started off, everyone, I think, is hoping to not get a late start, because that is a very real possibility here. And no late starts, okay. Everyone off to a decent start, but we're going to see the debuff start crashing down.
Yeah, let's see it. The Nice Nature kind of just chilling in the back as we make our way on this first spurt.
Ferns.
All right, taking the lead here is Rice Shower and the couple Agnes Tachyons coming out on the outside.
Bit of a bit of an expected 4-swing Maestro procs, right? Anyone who is remotely competitive knows that that is the skill to go with, and so is Gourmand. That does give you that same amount of recovery, very consistent for the pace chasers. But if you're a pace chaser, and there's a lot of them, they're all proccing Gourmand right now. If you're a pace chaser, you gotta watch out for those debuffs, not just the Nice Nature, but there's a plethora of other ones as well. And I think, yeah, that there's too many pace chasers. Wait a second.
Yeah. That's sick. And the Swinging Maestro is actually procced really early for a lot of these Umas, and especially with that debuffer Nice Nature just chilling menacingly in the back, you know, it might be a little scary as far as stamina goes when you're going a little bit slower than you might like. But number 8, taking that front runner position, it's Yellow on the Agnes Tachyon, followed by Ogre Cap, Agnes Tachyon, Tokai Teo, and basically everybody else in the race. But that debuff Nice Nature, once again, coming in from Ferns, just waiting behind and slowly moving up in position here as we head into this final corner.
Final corner coming up, and you got to watch out for those Ogre Caps. If they can make a little bit of space, they can proc their ult and really start racing forward. But right now, Yellow has such a massive lead, and the debuffs are going to start coming in as well. Yellow with the Speed Star, but the gap is closing so quickly. There's Smells Ogre Cap. There's the Ogre Cap army. There's Brickbat as well, and Brickbat's in prime position to use the ult here. That could be the difference here as Brickbat's racing forward. It's so close at the front, and Yellow is falling behind. There's Triumphant Pulse from Brickbat securing a top 3 position as Tokai Teo tries as well, but Agnes Tachyon gonna keep the lead and secure 3rd place.
Ogre, Tachyon, Tokai Teo just a little bit too slow. Nice Nature, the debuffer hitting 8 for 8, but unfortunately not able to secure her own spot in that top 3. And you already feel my heart breaking, right? None of my favorites for the top 3 made it in. The Meijiro McQueens, unfortunately, biting the dust here. But for your top 3, we have Ogre Cap coming in from Smell, Ogre Cap coming in from Brickbat, and Too Soon's Tachyon to move on to round number 3.
Yep. They are moving on, and you got to be happy with winning a race like that. Unsurprised that the Ogre Caps got it done when they were in that 2nd and 3rd positions, right? Prime position to just race forward.
Yeah, exactly. Even past the debuffs, it was like, okay, if everyone's getting debuffed, I mean, yes, we're all getting debuff, but the person applying those debuffs is still so far in the back. So without any skill points for any, acceleration, speed, or even stamina regen of their own, right? We mentioned that there was no swinging maestro on the nice nature. She doesn't need it if she's not going to be qualifying out in that top 3 either way. But all right, 6 more players down and biting the dust.
Yeah, quite brutal. 6 more players eliminated, and we move on to Group T. Let's see. I need to get into this lobby quick because it locks you out if there's less than 15 minutes remaining. Yeah, you got to join before 15.
Gotcha.
All right, looks like we're only missing one.
Very nice. Which group did we just do in terms of letters? I'm trying to scroll down and see real quick. Okay, we just did S. Got it. Now we're heading over to Group D.
Group T.
Oh, Group T? Okay, I was like,
just
oh, it's a big jump in the... Okay, yeah. That makes a lot more sense. Gotcha. All right, so this is going to be Rei Ciara, Atsuneko, Drop Leto, Pessoa. We got Q Sensei, Sawara, your champion of yesterday's event, Zonseki, Sigve, and Ika. So all fighting it out for that top 3 to make it into round number 3.
Yep. Just waiting for Atsuneko at the moment, I believe.
Okay.
1 slot remaining in the race, and this is another one with a lot of variety. Actually, so far, what I'm looking at that I can't show on screen right now to not leak the race ID is 8 unique horses.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, Atsuneko, if you can come in with 1 more unique horse, I mean, it might be hype moments. Real stuff.
But is Atsuneko here?
That's a great question. I guess an NPC would by default be a unique horse, but we shall see. Hopefully we don't have to DQ them because they already made it this far.
Atsuneko is here. Okay, on their way. That's
huge.
Good. Wait, 50 seconds remaining until 15-minute lockout. Uh-oh. Okay. To anyone listening, we got to start making these lobbies like really, really long in terms of start time because we quick start them anyway.
Lockout, yeah.
So no one gets locked out.
Exactly. One less thing to have to worry about. Could we remake the lobby? Yes, but, it'd be nice if we, had a little bit more breathing room.
Okay, we're good. Atsuneko made it with 20 seconds to spare.
Oh, thank God.
And we'll see how it goes here. A little disappointing, though. I wanted Fern's nice nature to have more of an explosive impact on the game.
I know. Yeah.
Didn't end up happening.
I think it's funny that we were like, oh, this is optimized because everyone is running Pace Chaser right now. But because everyone was running Pace Chaser, it didn't end up shifting any of the positions, unfortunately. So it was like, oh, okay, I can't keep up anyway. But heading on into it, looks like Sawara has that Symbole Rudolph that we saw yesterday. Ika with the Tachyon, Pessoa with the Gold Ship. Of course, Zoruseki pulling up with the Mihono Bourbon, which we haven't seen yet. Marzensky coming out from Fortnite God 2016. All right, Q Sensei. We got Rice Shower, Sigve with the Grass Wonder. Tokai Teo coming in from Rei. And it's Atsuneko with the Agnes Tachyon.
Yeah, and I got... Unfortunately, Fortnite God 2016 is one of my clubmates. It's on Zonseki. I'm interested in, though, because Mihono Bourbon is not a common Uma.
Yeah, I was going to say, she dropped in one of the more recent banners, which, already kind of limits how many folks have her. And also, she dropped after everybody kind of got the direction of, oh, okay, save all your carrots for SSR Kira-san. So folks who have been rolling for Mihono Bourbon and getting her, she is at the top of their list, right? Like, that's playing with your heart on the line.
Yeah, and only 1 duplicate Uma in this entire race.
Damn.
Is this game balanced?
Is this the best balanced game ever? Life is so good.
Yeah.
Most competitive fighting game there ever was.
Let's see. I had to ask you between this and the next match about some Party Dash info because I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know you've done a little bit of that.
A little bit. It's been a little while since I've seen Party Dash, but definitely, dude, that game is surprisingly fun. It's actually it's really good.
Right, but without further
you guys
ado,
got to catch on.
Let's get started with this race. Everything's flowing quite nicely now.
There we go. Yeah, everyone's kind of waiting and ready now that they know they're going to be on stream. They're just waiting for that room code to drop. But there we go. Back on the Tokyo turf. Once again, it's another 2,400-meter race as we head into our second round 2.
And so if you're in round 2, that is 6 times 9. Give me a second.
You got it. You got it.
50. Okay, it's top 54. It's top 54 if you make it to round 2. And if you make it past round 2, that gets divided by 3, so you're top 27.
Damn. Okay. Okay.
Wait, is that right?
I can do the math on the side. I have the start.gg, so I can do the counting.
27. No, that's divided by. Oh, it's cooked. Anyway, it's top 18. It's top 18. Thanks, Lolibon. It's top 18.
Yeah.
Okay. But
there we go.
We're heading into it, and look at that. Firm condition, standard distance. That is building for the tournament, really.
Yeah. Nice for a couple of the gamers, too. I see that concentration proc as well, which stops you for, running into difficulties with the late starts. So thankfully, pretty even starts from all the gamers here as we get some early swinging maestros around this first corner.
Way too many swinging maestros, or maybe not enough.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have swinging maestro, are you really sustaining here? As no one's gonna have a problem with stamina, it looks like. But look at the Mihono Bourbon. That is huge for Zanseki having that lead. But the question is, can Zanseki hold on?
Yeah, hang out in the back, we got the Agnes Tachyon, Tokai Teo right neck and neck with the Simbali Rudolph. Up in front, we have Mihono Bourbon and Marzensky, and taking up the middle of the pack, Grass Wonder, Gold Chip, Agnes Tachyon, and Rice Shower kind of vying for position here as we reach our halfway mark.
Halfway mark concluded here, and that Q-Sensei Rice Shower is going to have a great last spurt. Not the most consistent Uma, but a lot of potential here. Maybe some real-life lore accurate if they can surpass the Mihono Bourbon. But we're going to get some aura farming from our spectated horse, from Ika's Agnes Tachyon, and we'll see how it goes in the final third.
I'm so over this horse, man. She actually just hits the Frieza pose. It's so crazy. Shout out Gentle Donna. Shout out the Oaks as we pass by the big oak tree. Coming up with the palms here around our final corner. Prepared to pass. So many gold skills coming out from the Agnes Tachyons as we reach this final straightaway.
It's getting really, really close here. The Zanseki holding on to the lead for a moment, proccing the skill, meeting the conditions perfectly. But look at Suara all the way from the back, being boxed out though. Can the Agnes Tachyon hold on? No, it's Suara rushing forward, looking to try and secure that top 3 position at the moment, and will just get past Zanseki as well. But the Mihono Bourbon holding on to top 3. It's getting really close. Oh, that's Marzensky barely not making it, I think.
Yeah, it's a photo finish. I was scared because the camera angle was so focused on Suara just taking such a big lead in first place, but I'm going to need to check the results here to see who actually got that third place finish. It is the Agnes Tachyon, so like you said, Saya, that Marzensky just a nose away from qualifying in round number 3.
Yeah, and you saw Suara yesterday very well, right? That is a very, very scary Simbali Rudolph.
Yes. Their support card deck is formidable, to say the least. So seeing them making it into these further rounds, I'm not super surprised, but, happy for Zanseki as someone who, came into chat at the beginning of this race saying, all right, these Umas are looking pretty strong. I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive, but making it to round 2 is already pretty good. But with that second place, you're going on to round number 3, that top 18 we were talking about earlier, alongside Suara and Ika.
And we're going to progress right to Group U, but while we have a little bit of downtime, tell me a little bit more about Party Dash.
Party Dash is so good, guys. So I'm going to tell you guys, you should wait for it to go on sale. There is there's some amount of single player content. You get a little bit of the interactions, especially with, some characters that maybe we haven't gotten to see in global yet, or that are kind of coming up on the horizon as well. I think some of the DLC characters, unfortunately, don't get a, additional story mode for you guys to kind of try and run through. But as far as a fun party game to just boot up with the homies, it's pretty good. And the price goes pretty reasonable. I think around $20-ish USD with all the DLC, if you're able to find a good sale for it. So keep an eye out. There are games you got Hurdling Hurdles. There's a dodgeball game. Okay, the dodgeball game, I think it's my favorite one out of the 4 that you have in that game. It is so hype moments in Aura, man. You can ricochet the dodgeball. You can bait people out on where you're actually aiming. You can parry the ball and then stay alive. It's so good, man. Basketball, I think, is a close second because the stage conditions get legitimately insane. And I feel like I'm forgetting one last one. Oh, Gourmet Bash? I forget what it's called. It's the mini game where you are a server, and an eater, and you're trying to like match up the colors of your plates while not getting tripped up by your opponents. Like, there's no good way for me to describe it. You just have to see it in action. But I think Party Dash is pretty fun, and especially with the energy of an offline crowd like we saw earlier this year at Awaited Fate. So shout out once again to the Plus Frames GG folks for running that and making it happen. It's pretty fun. So I think if one gamer in your group ends up buying it on sale, and then maybe, I don't know, you split it over Venmo, like $5 each, and you just boot it up every so often, like, you know, at locals or you know, when you get a chance, it's a good time. You guys should try it out.
Yep, and we're getting right into our next race here. There's some people I know from my club. It's Alice and Lucas441 that I mentioned earlier. We'll see how they do.
Yeah, let's see it. So I'm kind of taking a peek over at the start.gg, but you guys can see it on screen right now. Alice with the Mayano Top Gun, first one we've seen today. Ken with the Tokateo, Damival with the El Condor Pasa, Wool with the Tokateo, Agnes Tachyon coming in from Lucas441, 55 with the El Condor Pasa, Snowda with the Agnes Tachyon. Lots of Tachyon today, I gotta say. TM Opera O coming in from Kyoto 2N, and Zen 0 with another Agnes Tachyon. That's like 4 Tachyons, bro. That is insane.
Yeah, they're really enjoying Tachyon, but my eyes are on the Mayano Top Gun. It's 9 pace chasers, but this is a crazy Mayano Top Gun.
What the hell? The SS, that 1100 speed, while still hitting the stam requirements like pretty solidly, right? And with okay, so we actually do not have Swinging Maestro on this, but we do have Gorman. So as far as like stamina recovery, I think she should be okay.
And look at the skills too, right? Triumphant Pulse and Redshift. Those are 2 amazing skills. Shooting for victory as well. Yeah. This is going to be a scary, scary Mayano Top Gun, but I think that the rest of the people in this lobby are also a little scary here. Look at the speed. Yeah. There's no shortage.
You are 1 off of the cap. That's actually insane. And you know that's optimized because they were thinking like, oh, okay, I'm going to get the extra stat bonuses from winning URA finals, so I'm not going to max it out and then waste that. Let me balance out the rest of my stats. That's the min-maxing you got to do to make it into round number 3.
Yep. Just inputting the rest of the overlay here.
Yep.
But we should be good to go in a sec. Agnes Tachyon.
Alrighty.
TM Opera O, not a horse we see too often, right? Not an Uma that is frequented, I think, mostly because people didn't pull for her as much.
Exactly. Yeah, unless you guys have the blessed streamer luck of getting her in your first 10 pull, like TM Opera O, a lot of your roles ended up going for supports. I understand a lot of folks not having her. We do get to see her in this round number 2. Once again, it's Group U pulling up for our next match.
Group U full of scary players here. And we almost saw Soara get blocked in the previous match, right? So even having the best stats, there is still that element you got to watch out for.
All right, the gamer's getting into the paddocks. Agnes Tachyon's normal mood looks so sad. I was like, oh, is her mood like awful? And then I'm like, wait, it's literally standardized. She's thinking, man. She's doing math in her head. She's like the Pythagorean theorem meme.
Yeah, Agnes Tachyon compared with Mayano Top Gun, it's like night and day in terms of normal mood. No late starts at the moment, and we'll see how the formation just forms. Wow, formation forms. Crazy. But we'll see who gets blocked, because if you're at the back of the pack in a pace chaser matchup with 9 pace chasers, you got to be a little bit careful. You got to be a little bit scared for your Uma, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody just running the same strategy, so I'm curious to see how things kind of settle out regardless. So it looks like Damiball and Wool are kind of taking the front-runner-esque positions here as we head across this first corner. And again, lots of Swinging Maestros proccing really early on.
Yeah. Swinging Maestro. Someone's going to screenshot like for the 4 Swinging Maestro procs and tweet it and be like, this is the Umamusume Tournament.
Is this your game? Is this competitive, bros? What happened to the game I love? What happened to the El Condor Pasa? Once again, Damival just chilling out here in the front runner position. We got Agnes Tachyon, Tokateo, and literally everybody else within the same like single length.
Yeah, they are so incredibly grouped up right now. And I'm looking at Alice's Mayano Top Gun. Huge potential, but currently completely blocked. There's an entire wall in front of that Uma right now. And I'm not sure if that's ever going to open up.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, right, Mayano Top Gun's skill activates with her being relatively close to the front of the pack. So being just about dead last place, even with the Gorman, it's a scary position. It looks like the wall is slowly starting to open up on the inside here, but it's still a rough spot here for Alice as we head into that final corner. Although Swinging Maestro already procs so early on, so you really gotta hope that your stamina's gonna be enough for this final straightaway.
Oh, look at the Mayano Top Gun, though, coming in. There's space enough in the inside. Mayano Top Gun currently blocked by Tokai Teo, though, and still that 55... it's so dangerous here, but Mayano Top Gun from the inside, rushing past, makes it, and we're seeing the stamina fall off here. We're seeing a bunch of Umas fall off due to stamina. It's so close. It's not enough for Mayano Top Gun. It looks like it's a Tokai Teo's taking over.
Opera 0-2 Tokai Teos, if I'm not mistaken, but just look at the leaderboard. Barely half a length between all four of those top placers. So we're going to check it out real quick. Snowda with the Agnes Tachyon, 2 Tokai Teos coming in from Ken and Wool, but the Mayano Top Gun, like we were saying, we were watching this, the entire race was set up for success, but the positioning, right, just falling behind so early on just made the advance in that final spurt so difficult to get out with.
Yeah, Snowda, Ken, and Wool got it done here. I had to take a look at that Ken build, honestly. Wow. These stats aren't, like, crazy, right?
Yeah, they're pretty reasonable, right? I like the lore of giving her the Simbali Rudolph skill as well. But Swinging Maestro, you know, Beeline Burst, kind of standard stuff that we've been seeing from the rest of the Umas today.
Yeah, and Snowda with the Agnes Tachyon. Now, this is a bit of a monster. This is what we would expect a little bit more from... someone who gets top 3 in round 2, but moving on, it's only going to get a little bit more difficult, I think.
Exactly. I'm checking on over. Keep in mind that it can be tough to win when you choose the same strategy as much of the competition. I'm just saying, 100% of our top 3 chose Pace Chaser. You know, however you want to interpret that. That being said, 100% of our bottom 6 also chose Pace Chaser. So you can make the data say anything if you have enough persuasion skill, I guess. Alrighty, so that's been Group U. We are halfway through our round 2, so we got Group V, W, and X before we make it into our round number 3.
And if you make it out of this clump of 6 groups, you move on to a round with only 2 groups remaining, 18 players in the second to last round. It is getting really, really close, and in this next group, I see a player that I'm very familiar with. It's Blackjet, who eliminated me.
Oh, yeah, I forget if we got to see this match on stream yesterday. I think we did, because I feel like I remember being like, oh, okay, we got the TO and streamer of the bracket tomorrow going on versus Blackjet, etc., etc. But yeah, Blackjet over here, definitely a strong contender in Group V. What else do we have? We got Burr 224, Shaw Esther, lots of folks that we're going to be seeing in just a little bit. I'm going to go through the list once we see their Umas as well, so I'm not going to waste your time yapping your ears off with their names once again, but I'm sure you guys are excited. Again, if you guys are following along with the exclamation point horse, which is where you can see all of our groups, the standings, the results so far, let me know if you guys are cheering on anyone in particular to take everything home. I know the prized possession, the prize pool right now is a Rice Shower plush, so if you guys have any gamers or any trainers that you're cheering on to get that final prize, let me know. I'm cheering for me to win. Okay, Shino, I know you're a Rice Shower enjoyer and you're already in the bracket. I think you're in the last group here of this round number 2. So I'll be cheering you on, but there are definitely some killers out here.
There definitely are. And I'm realizing that I made the background a little too transparent. You can actually kind of see the lobby code, so I'll fix that real quick.
Oh, I did not notice that, to be honest. I'm glad you said it as you were fixing it, because if I had seen it, I'm not gonna lie, I might have let it slip by accident, and then I'd be like, oop. Good.
Right, Group V. This is an interesting one, I gotta say. Blackjet bringing a very, very different Uma this time, bringing the Maruzensky, and apparently, I think I saw in the chat earlier, trained it this morning or something.
Damn, okay, was doing some last minute preparations here for the veterans. But as far as the rest of this paddock, we got Church with the Ogre cap, and there's literally 3 more Ogre caps coming in from Akin, Bear, and Beanzu. And then another Ogre cap from W. There's Scarlet Skill with the Agnes Tachyon. This pissed me off yesterday, man. I thought we were going to see Daiwa Scarlet, and then I see Agnes Tachyon from Scarlet Skill. I'm like, what the hell? And then we got Princess Esther with the gold chip, and Cross Alter with another gold chip as well.
Yeah, and taking a look, just a run through of the stats. Lots of speed from the usual suspects, but my eyes are on that stamina. In that last race, we saw a few Umas drop off due to low stamina, so you got to watch out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be scary. We see W and Church definitely being on the lower end of stamina right now. So if you're swinging Maestro procs a little bit too early, or for example, like if we have a stray debuff that ends up catching you on one of these horses, that, you know, might be the difference between you surviving into that top 3 or sputtering out in the last spurt.
But this is a little bit more of what I expected coming in. The Ogre cap invasion. And that's exactly what we're seeing in this one.
Yeah, if you guys saw the Ludwig Uma tournament, it looked very similar to that. There were just like Ogre caps everywhere, just taking up the whole pasture, man.
Well, we'll see how it goes in this one. We've seen a lot of late surges, right? That final spurt being the entire difference. But it's also important to not get blocked in the back like what happened to Mano Top Gun in the previous race. And
yeah,
I think a lot of trainers are going to be worried at the start of this one.
Yeah, let's see it. If I'm not mistaken, are we also like mostly pace chasers for this race around as well? I mean, it's been super popular as far as the Uma choices that we've been seeing, but we shall see how things settle out as we make our way out of the gates.
Yeah, I think a lot of these Umas will be pace chasing. Gold chips, maybe not. Of course, you can build that pace ship, but we'll have to see if that does end up happening here. Maruzensky, though, with a huge early lead here.
Yeah, very quickly taking that front runner position here for Black Jet, but otherwise the Ogre is kind of taking the middle of the pack. Agnes Tachyon coming in from Scarlet Skill, but otherwise the rest of the Ogre is just chilling in the middle. And the gold chips, of course, taking that classic late surger position.
Yep, and right now, I think my eyes are on those gold chips. They are always approaching at all times. Right here, the Ogre Cap army completely boxing in the Agnes Tachyon at the moment, but that'll probably free up later in the race. Maruzensky, though, still maintaining a very solid lead. It's shrinking, but that's still quite the early lead to build.
Yeah, there we go. The front runner position always a little bit scary when you think about stamina, but you know, Black Jet had this character built out so that really wasn't a big concern. But dude, the Ogres are actually just pulling up. They're like right on Maruzensky's scale. That is terrifying if you're her.
Yeah, but proccing the skills here is Black Jet trying to make some distance, but this is perfect for all of those Ogre caps to proc their ult. That will be them surging forward in the last spurt if they meet those conditions, and it's looking quite likely at the moment.
Maruzensky, Grandma, I need you to watch the Ogre Caplings as we head around this final corner. Speedstar proccing from one of the Ogre Caps as well, just making it into the final straightaway. Maruzensky from Black Jet, again, still a decent lead, but the acceleration for the Ogre Caps finally kicking in a debuff. They're basically everyone in the pace chaser position as Goldchip tries to make her move from the outside. Ogre Cap from the inside as well, accelerating as they're trying to make our way to the finish. Maruzensky still so many leads ahead, but the Ogre skill gonna proc here. Let's see if it's enough to come up with such a big lead.
They're catching up here, but it's not quite enough. It feels like there's a gold chip there, and only one Ogre Cap out of the entire pack makes it.
There we go. We see the dejected ears as we cross the finish line here. Barely 2 lengths between that top 3 and the... Man, the distance between 3rd and 4th being ahead is a heartbreaker. But your top 3 for this one, Bear on the Ogre Cap, Black Jet with the Maruzensky, who had such a strong lead the entire race, but just barely not stealing out first, but does make it on to the next round. And Princess Esther, Princess Esther, with the gold ship, actually, just barely sealing out number 3.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at the channel point predictions here. It's difficult. You got 9 choices, and
it's hard.
Most of them are empty, I gotta say, because how do you pick?
Exactly, yeah. And I'm seeing from W in the chat as well. Both my recovery skills popped so early and my low stamina screwed me. And we talked about this at the beginning of the race as well, right? Like that is a scary stat line when you're, you know, especially when you're looking at everybody else in that high 600, 700 range.
Yep. And we're gonna move right on to the next one. The next race is going to be Group W. But only 3 of these Group W members can get the W. The rest will be eliminated here.
Yep. Let's see it. Also, these emotes that are being added in chat are so godlike. I'm not gonna lie. The Ogre cap, the gold shit, these are pretty good. I gotta shout out 7TV for the one time.
Yeah, the Golshi.
What? Okay, that one is crazy. I got jump scared on that end. Holy. All right, yeah, we're just loading in here and making sure all the gamers are ready before we give you Group W. These are actually, I want to say, all new names to me. I think I might have seen JLBX yesterday, but otherwise, these are some new faces. Again, we were capped at 81 yesterday, and we literally had more than twice the amount of entrants coming into today. Whether that was, folks who didn't make it into the initial wait list, or folks who saw yesterday and they were like, wait, this Umamusume stuff kind of gets a little serious. I kind of want to be, in on the action. And now they're joining us over here at Bestie and Slot for some more of that global PvP. So either way, whether you guys are competing, whether you got knocked out already, you're still fighting for your life, or if you're just tuning in because you're in for a damn good time and watching alongside with us, much appreciated for stopping on by.
Yeah, and heading into the lobby here, well, we're getting quite the variety in this lobby, but of course the Ogre caps are showing out in force.
Yes. Yeah, so we got JLBX on the Major McQueen, Treddy pulling up with a rice shower, Bedford with the Ogre cap, Doku? Oh, Dog. Okay, there we go. With Simply Rudolph, Abo with the Mihono Bourbon, Ride the Lightning with Ogre cap, Flood by Boris with Tokai Teo, Poichamp on the El Condor Pasa, and Scorpio on Tokai Teo.
It's quite the variety still, but it is not the most variety that we've ever seen. Tokai Teo has been very successful in this tournament so far, I think.
Yeah.
And that is something that I half expected, but also not really, because everyone's talking about Ogre cap, I think.
I know, yeah. Like, she feels inevitable, right? In some of these races, like just such a solid, stat spread for any distance, any turf conditions, between turf and dirt as well. So not surprised to see so many over here, but I am also glad that we're seeing quite the variety.
Yeah, and if there's anyone who I think might be the protagonist of this lobby, it's Treddy with that rice shower. If you're trying to win a rice shower plush and you're bringing a rice shower, I think you're doing something right.
That's what I'm saying. You're fighting with your heart on your sleeve. You're trying to get that merch and do it for her, like with that character. I think there's like, Atkins was saying it yesterday, right? There's 5 main stats in the game, but there's a secret hidden stat. The 6th is your love for your Uma. So you're definitely winning in that department.
All right, we're heading into our Group W match, and this is going to be a bit of a heater. The stats not looking too crazy in this lobby, I gotta say, but that is also something that you can't just look at, because the skills proccing, everything just depends on that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's scary. Even if your skills do proc, thinking about, okay, when is the best timing for my acceleration to kick in? When is the best time for my stamina to refill, right? You're not trying to have it be too early on and, basically not overstack, essentially, and, lose a little bit of value there. Of course, these gamers are ready and waiting in the paddock. Hopefully no late starts, but fingers crossed as we head into our next match with Group W.
Will this be the path to victory? Will someone from this group get the W in the end? But that focus gonna be helping out that Symbolic Rudolph there, not fall too far behind. But as we saw before with Zonseki, this Mihono Bourbon off to an early start needs to maintain that lead. But as we've seen, it's not easy.
There we go. Both of the Ogre Caps kind of taking this middle position as well, along with everybody else. Simply Rudolph coming in from Doc, just chilling in that late surger position. As again, a lot of early procs in the Swinging Maestro.
Yeah, lots of early stamina recovered. Might be a little bit wasted. We'll have to see later on if some of these lower stamina Umas drop off. But other than that, I think my eyes are on who gets blocked, right? Treddy's in a bit of a dangerous situation right now.
Yeah, exactly. Even though you're saving up your stamina, 2400 is the longest distance in the game, and just trying to make your way past this wall of Umas right now, we'll see if you're spec to make your way out the outside.
Yeah, trying to get past here, but Major McQueen's the one who's making it a little bit difficult for herself, unfortunately, with that positioning. There's an entire wall of Umas trying to drift away from the center of the track, trying to make some space, but since they're all trying to do that, they're all clumping up.
Yeah, pretty solid time to proc the Gourmand here from Rice Shower and Treddy's side, but I like that you're mentioning this, right? You know, trying to stay on the inside, optimize for distance, but optimize for blocking as well. Look how many Umas you have to make your way through. The Rice Shower, the El Condor Pasa, that Mihono Bourbon, like you mentioned on the inside, and Tokai Teo just barely trailing behind on the Ogres as we head into the final straightaway. Debuff, but still taking that first place. The Dominator pulling up here for Simply Rudolph.
But the question is, will it be enough? Even with that debuff, Simply Rudolph is completely blocked out here. We're looking for a little bit of pressure from the El Condor Pasa. Tokai Teo still maintaining the lead. Two Tokai Teos, in fact, as Ogre Cap on the outside. As Triumphant Pulse both proc. Can they catch up to the top three? But there's a Sky High Teo step breaking into first place. But one of the Teos cannot keep up. And we see this skill pop, but it's not going to be enough for the Simply Rudolph.
Nope. Man, it was almost two Teos in that top three, but Ogre Cap in the nick of time, still able to survive with a clutch acceleration up. So let's see this top three as we find a few more qualifiers for that next round. It's Scorpio's Tokai Teo, it's Poi Champ's El Condor Pasa, and Bedford's Ogre Cap just barely making their way through.
Yep. Scorpio gets it done here. And Freddy falling a little bit short, a little bit unfortunate, but my eyes were on Flood by Boris's Tokai Teo. Almost had it, but in the very end, Bedford's Ogre Cap with the Triumphant Pulse got just enough speed to get past.
Exactly. I was feeling a little hopeful for the Rice Shower as well, right? You know, that final stamina regen that we got on that last corner gave you so much energy to work with, but I don't know, man. The speed, the acceleration just wasn't enough to keep up with our top three. But those top three are going to be heading into our next group. And speaking of our final group for round number 2, Group X is heading up next to solidify our last 3 spots in top 18.
Yep, Group X, that's going to be an interesting one. Last chance for these players to move on here. And I'm already looking at like the previews of the next groups, and it's scary. These are all just winners. You know, it's only winners.
Exactly. Yeah, these are folks who survived the trying times of round number 1, and they're trying to go as far as they can. We mentioned Shino earlier. This is a homie of mine and also a Rice Shower enthusiast, so I already know he's got that prize on the mind. He's trying to get the Rice Shower plushie and do it for her. But I don't know, man. It's going to be difficult against the rest of these gamers.
Yeah, and the room ID has been sent in the Start GG chat.
Yes.
6 out of 9 players at the moment, so we'll have a bit to talk here. But Nubsta is hooking me up with all of these 7TB emotes.
It's so good. It's actually incredible. Added the emote. Trust the process. This is crazy, man. The Michael Jackson gold chip actually goes so hard.
And I'm glad to see that Ayla Lyra has still survived here, a player that I mentioned earlier. Same with Sargly and Scandals. Scandals we saw in our very first lobby of the day.
Yes. Yeah.
And we'll see if these players can keep it going, because right now they may be in the top 54, but top 18 is another story entirely.
Exactly. The later and later we get, the more important that it ends up being that your support cards end up being juiced. And I mean, we're seeing so many of these, you know, top 3 versus top 4 finishes just barely being determined by a head, a neck, a nose, right? So even a difference of a few skill points, a few stats on the stat line can make all the difference to making it into that next round.
Yep, all the players are ready. We're proceeding very smoothly now. The first round was the real roadblock, but everyone's just in the lobby immediately. W.
I worked so hard to get this Taiki from F rank medium to A rank and still get good stats. I'm not going down in round 1. That again, this is a gamer who plays with their heart on their sleeve. They're doing it for the Oshi horse.
Oh wait, that's real. Oh, holy moly, that's Taiki Shuttle with a A rank and B. Oh wow, that is.
She is not built for this originally, dog. She is, you know, she's got to be trained and blessed by the mandate of heaven to make it out here.
There's the entire backstory. There's the monologue for Taiki Shuttle. But
yeah, exactly.
Is that the monologue before they lose or win, you know?
That's a good question, right? You know, sometimes the flashback hits, but it's still not enough to cross that first place finish. But in the first paddock, we got El Condor Pasa coming out from Shino. We got Scandals with the Agnes Tachyon, Noguri with a Silent Suzuka, SSR Argly? Sargly coming out. Sargly, okay. With Ogre Cap, that's MN Kodo with TM Opera O, Ayla Lyra with the Taiki Shuttle, Francois with El Condor Pasa, Gonyangmi with Ogre Cap, and W Agent with Gold Ship.
Yeah, and as you can see here, that beautiful A on medium for this Taiki shuttle, and the stats are looking quite good as well, I gotta say.
Yeah, there we go. 1100 in the speed, very solid in the stamina. So even with an early proc on some of these stamina regen skills, like you should be more than fine.
But yeah, as Blackjet is pointing out, you got to be careful with that front runner. You never know. Silent Suzuka, though, making an appearance. Not someone who I expected to see this deep.
Yeah, exactly. The A-rank Silent Suzuka making sure to do it for our favorite Carat, I was going to say Carat-shaped, Carat-esque Umamusume.
Yep.
My L is going to be on the floor after this race. Shido, you got to believe in your horse, man. You got this far.
Yeah, that's what the VC... So, Umamusume is swept across the Omega Strikers community, and there's a lot of VCs of Umamusume playing. And what I always get told is you got to believe. And that's like one of the main things. Me? I'll admit it, okay? I'm a race skipper.
Okay, I skipped to the last spurt a lot, I gotta say. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but
sometimes you just got to get the dailies done. You hit view results. You're like, okay, you know, man, we gotta keep it moving. But let's view our next race here as we head into Group X, our final qualifier for round number 3.
We'll see how it works here. This is a very, very scary lobby, and my eyes are on the Taiki Shuttle and the Silent Suzuka 2 Umas that I did not expect to see this late, as I mentioned earlier. But
yeah,
it takes dedication to make it through a round with those characters. So we'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, let's see if we can do it for our Oshi real quick. We're talking a little bit about the strategies in chat as well. You know, Ayla Lyra thinking, oh, okay, I'm putting Taiki Shuttle in front. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more difficult to proc her skill, but I just really don't want her to be blocked in, especially seeing a lot of these previous races where, you know, pace chasers can be anywhere from 2nd place to 8th place. So it's a little spooky just trying to solidify that top 3 finish.
Concentration already doing work for Noguri. Unfortunately for Noguri, there are 2 Oguris in this lobby here, but we're already seeing the power of the front runners here. They're not in danger of getting blocked, and that Taiki Shuttle is just completely in front of the entire race. Silent Suzuka, of course, sticking close behind, but as long as they can keep that stamina up, I think they're in a very good spot. Like you mentioned earlier, not getting blocked is so important when everyone's so clumped.
Yep. And already that's like 6, 7 of the stamina regen procs only on this first corner. There we go. Taiki Shuttle once again taking the lead. Silent Suzuka directly behind. Most of the middle of the pack aside from Gold Chip, just chilling over there in that back position.
That Gold Chip could be a threat later on, but the question is, can she even make it through the wall of pace chasers? That has been the downfall of many a Gold Chip in these lobbies so far. The contest at the front, Suzuka just getting ahead of Taiki Shuttle for now, but Silent Suzuka also needs to be careful about that stamina.
Yeah, there we go. Ults popping as we hit the halfway point here. A little bit of stamina coming out from Noguri. Beeline burst, Gorman. We're speeding up as we hit this final corner.
Yep, it's looking pretty good in terms of Taiki Shuttle positioning at the moment. We'll see if the ults get popped in the final stretch, but there we go. MN Koto getting that ult, getting that speed star, trying to push forward here, and this is where it begins. Everyone is just starting to rush forward here, but the hesitant pace chasers hitting all the pace chasers, that could be what seals it for Taiki.
Yeah, it's scary. A lot of these debuffs coming in. I thought Gold Chip was going to be blocked on the inside, but making such a run for it. Might actually be able to catch up. Already passes Ogre Cap. Already passes Taiki Shuttle. Making it into this first place. The acceleration is unstoppable. Taiki Shuttle falling to 3rd as Ogre Cap makes her way in. Can we secure the top 3 finish for Ayla Lyra? It's just barely enough to surpass that 2nd Silent Suzuka. Ayla Lyra stays alive with the 3rd place Taiki Shuttle.
Wow. The monologue was a positive one after all, as Ayla Lyra gets it done, but look at that Gold Chip. W agent, W indeed. Just finding a line through the inside and just running so quickly. It was not close.
The W for the agent, the group number X, sealing out our top number 3. Unfortunately, my homie Shino couldn't make it, but still a stellar performance. Just trying to stay alive against some of these stacked Umas as we have our final 3 qualifiers into that round number 3 in W agent, Sargli, and Ayla Lyra.
Wow, I gotta take a look at this W Agent Gold Chip.
Yeah, right. Let's take a look here. The swinging maestro, unsurprising. We got a lot of white skills as far as the acceleration goes, but otherwise, pretty crazy on the speed as well.
Yeah, and the end closer corner skill, like the specific style corner skills, are all very good, and Gold Chip benefiting a ton from getting stuff like that. Very well built Gold Chip, I gotta say.
Yeah, right. There we go.
But we're into top 18 now. Top 18, Group Y. And we're going to see a lot of... we're going to only see familiar faces. We've seen all these players before.
Everyone's been on stream already, so it's at least their second go up on the broadcast. Still fighting for their lives here. This is going from top 18 to top 6, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because it's, again, that top 3 qualifier from 2 last groups in round number 3.
Yeah, this is a scary lobby. It's got Stell, Burr, Scorpio. Okay, well, why am I saying it's a scary lobby? It's only top 3 finishers. Of course it's going to be a scary lobby.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, right? Where I'm sure a lot of folks were like, oh, you know what, man? It's not, 3v3. I don't have to worry about debuffers. There's so much less on the line. It's okay. There's top 3 cut out. Like, I got, 3 slots to try and qualify out. But like you said, you still have to be in the top third of the lobby. And especially with so many folks having even more time to build up their Umas for, all of the conditions that they know are going to be guaranteed in today's Carat Clash. Like, it's spooky out here. You really got to optimize to stay alive.
Right, lobby has been made, and we're gonna watch it fill up real quick. But so far, how's the tournament been? I feel like it's just gone by in a flash. Like, everything has been happening. People have been eliminated, advancing. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think my main takeaway today, not even talking about the skills, not even talking about meta Umas, not even thinking about the conditions or the distance. What I'm really realizing is that it could be pretty tough to win when you choose the same strategy as much of the competition. That's just how it goes, man. These streets are tough.
It is indeed pretty tough. Everyone's just getting blocked out here, but although I see a lot of pace chasers in this next lobby, I'm also seeing a lot of non-pace chasers as well. That could be huge for those who don't choose the same strategy as much of the competition.
There are only 2 groups. Yes, there are only 2 groups in this round number 3, so 6 folks making it out into that top 6. And I don't know if we're going to fill the last 3 spots with NPCs or if we're just going to leave it as that, 6 Uma for the final, race. We'll see.
Yep. It will be 3 NPCs, and whoever loses to an NPC in the final race, after making it through the entire bracket, it's over for you.
Saya, you need to hold a vote for 3 players to be brought back for top 9. You're sorry, buddy. You're not getting the Dragon Ball wish here. You just gotta watch along like the rest of us.
That does sound really funny. It's not gonna happen, but it sounds so funny.
It's like the Ari Makinen, but like for grand finals, you're like, okay, if you guys had to vote, you guys have to choose. You get like a 5-minute Google form submission. The top 3 voted in get like 1 more chance at the room lobby. As hype as it would be, maybe for Carat Clash number 2, maybe.
Yeah, but what Ayla Lyra is saying is very, very correct here. It is like really, really just over centralizing that Gourmand is the second best golden skill, right? The golden stamina skill.
Yeah.
And there's a universal one-swing maestro, but when Gourmand's the most reliable after that, then everyone is naturally drawn to Pace Chaser.
Yeah, exactly. So playing around the conditions of like what everybody else is going to build definitely is keeping Ayla Lyra alive here as we head into our first round 3. So it's Group Y with Burr on the Ogre Recap, Scorpio on Tokai Teo, Bedford on Ogre Recap as well, Brickbat, guess what? It's another Ogre Recap, Princess Esther with Gold Chip, Blackjet pulling up with the Marzensky, and of course we got a few other folks down here in the bottom as well that we will see in just a second. Once we get more cards, we'll have more variety, I think. Yeah, exactly. But we got Smell on Ogre Recap, Poichamp on El Condor Pasa, and too soon bringing up that 9th paddock with Agnes Tachyon.
Yep, and this Blackjet Marzensky, this was like, how? This is a crazy stat line, I gotta say. And front running too, not gonna have to worry about being blocked.
Yeah, exactly. We were ahead in 99% of the race, and even when we got past, we were still able to secure that second place. And I mean, that's all you need to make it into the grand finals, right? That top cut.
Yep. But we're seeing a lot of Ogre recaps. Unsurprising, yes. But they're pace chasing and they're Ogre recaps, and hopefully a gold chip will be able to disrupt them a little bit. Princess Esther with a bit of a scary one here, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, let's see it. Even with 1 or 2 debuffs, maybe even with the late surger acceleration that we got in that final spurt, we've been seeing a lot of situations where Umas with otherwise really good stat lines, the blocking just seems so insurmountable. You know, putting so much into speed and stamina, especially at the medium distance, doesn't leave a ton of room for, you know, for power. So let's see if it's going to be enough to break out of the crowd.
Yep. Oh, it's technically the same settings as the Japanese Oaks, I believe. So
oh, true.
That's what was modified by Blackjet. For this one, we get a bit of a fancy, a little bit transition, a little bit of Microsoft Word on, I gotta say.
The graphic design on the openings for the races is pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. I used to meme on it a lot, just, you know, watching it on Discord through my friend's JP client, but seeing it for myself is pretty clean. But hearts for the Japanese Oaks, hearts on their sleeves for these gamers playing it for our first round of semifinals.
All eyes on that Marzensky. Will the lead be kept? Will the Ogre Caps be able to overcome? And of course, Tokai Teo, Sky High Teo step. If the conditions are met, it is such an incredibly powerful skill. So that is also something to watch out for here.
Yep. The localization team deserves a raise for the work they did. I forgot they had to localize the race intros too. That was like, I actually just like totally forgot about that. Shout out to them. But shout out to all the gamers letting these early acceleration skills rock. Iron Will, I feel like I have heard this skill is so difficult to proc, and especially, you know, procking it early on, you're like, whatever. I barely get any stand back anyway.
Yeah, those early procs are gonna hurt of those Iron Will. Swing Maestro, of course, on the first corner as well. And I'm starting to think maybe this exact racetrack that we picked is actually anti-Swing Maestro.
Because the corner is so early on, right? You know, depending on the race course, maybe it's a longer straightaway in the beginning. So even if it procs on the first corner, right, it still gives you a decent amount back. But barely even halfway through, and you've already taken away one of the core stamina regen skills that we have.
Yeah, we'll see if that is indeed what happens here.
Yo, Brickbat is like, wait, all my stamina skills popped up. So cooked.
Yeah, he's saying I'm cooked because maybe he is right now, though. El Condor Pasa actually the one taking the lead here. That's huge for PoiChamp.
Yeah. All right, Ogre Cap, Gold Ship taking this late surger position, just waiting in the back as most of the gamers, or most of the trainers rather, just waiting for their horses to try and escape this pack. All right, Marzensky falling back a little bit as El Condor Pasa takes a stellar lead in the front runner position.
Yep, popping the skill as well. Marzensky is pushing forward here. Just running desperately to try and get past the Tokai Teo, but that's a really good spot for Scorpio to be in at the moment here. In a very, very safe spot. PoiChamp also popping the ult as the final stretch is coming. They are so dangerously close. The Ogre Caps all approaching on the outside edge. I don't know whose Ogre Cap that is, but that's a really good position to be in. Triumphant Pulse popped by Burr, and Burr is looking poised to get it done here. Getting first place out of nowhere, and it's not even close.
Oh my god, El Condor Pasa just barely stopped in that top 3 finish, a head half a length at most there, stopped from making it into our grand finals as we head on into it and see our final 3 qualifier. Oh my god, man, that was a burst of speed at the end that I could never have predicted.
Yeah, I didn't know whose it was until that Triumphant Pulse popped and it said Burr, and Burr, just the perfect place to get it done there.
Yep.
Scorpio and Princess Esther also moving on.
Yeah, just barely making it into grand finals by a neck. The gold chip acceleration saving your life. I mean, Tokai Teo out of that final corner, I think we had a pretty good read on, all right, this is a solid way to, you know, secure your top 3 spot. Burr did not let go of the lead, though, as we make that first place finish and our first 3 gamers into our finals qualification.
Also, it's a late Ogre recap. It's not a pace.
You're right. You're right.
Maybe the answer is that command that was just added. Exclamation point pace.
Keep in mind, it can be tough to win when you choose the same strategy as much of the competition. I mean, it's only canon, right? We see it from the aptitudes. We see it in Cinderella Gray. Ogre Cap just making her way out of the outside, even if she's far back a little bit, even if she's blocked by the rest of the pack, she just caps, man. Well, it's hard for me to use the word gap and Ogre Cap in the same sentence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love her. I love seeing her, but I don't know if I can call it gap. I can call it cinema. I can call it hype moments, but maybe not that last one.
There's a whole like day in VC when Fortnite God 2016 dropped letters, started saying cap is in peak, and then everyone just started saying variations of that.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Cap is in peak. Gap is in bleak. I'm sure you guys can think of some more in the chat as well. Ogre Gap, true. It's true.
Be silent like Suzuka.
That's the stuff that made grass wonder. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. But
praying for Mateo to survive her next fracture. It's true. We're taking a look at the next group. Who do we got, Saya?
My eyes are on Zonseki once again. It's a group full of people who are trying to get it done in their own way, right? Zonseki with the Mihono Bourbon, but also just the group with Ayla Lyra with the Taiki Shuttle.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see it as we head on into things. You know, Sawara, again, we saw yesterday taking it home for the 3v3 long distance, but that Simply Rudolph has still been doing so much work, even in the medium here on the Tokyo turf.
Yeah, that is a one scary Uma right there, and maybe we'll see a little bit more blockage here. We saw it in the last stream game that Sawara was in, right? So nothing is certain, but if you had to predict, it would probably be Sawara being the favorite. Exactly,
yeah. And Ayla Lyra checking in on the chat saying, if Zon passes me, that's really good for me, right? You know, because seeing Mihono Bourbon kind of taking that front-running strategy, pretty standard stuff, so will end up working out. So, you know, hoping that the Taiki Shuttle kind of stays in that second place to get the consistent skill proc. But we shall see.
Yep, just waiting on Sawara, I believe. Just waiting on Sawara to get in here, and then we can start Group Z of round 3 of top 18.
Yep, our second grand finals qualifiers. And it is funny with the top 3 cutoff, because yesterday, right, it was 3 Umas making it on, but they were all from the same trainer. Now, this being a 1v1 and still being the top 3 cutoff, but kind of, you can see it in the chat as well, Ayla Lyra and Zon being like, my Mihono Bourbon, your Taiki Shuttle, we may just secure this top 2 placing, and whoever makes it into third, like, good for them. But you and I, we got some synergy going on. At least we can secure that spot in the grand finals. This is fun to see.
They may think that, but I think they've also realized that a certain Symboli Rudolph is in the building.
That's true. You can never be too careful.
Yep. Lots of Tachyons still staying alive, though. 2 Agnes Tachyons immediately here in this pool.
It'll be hella hype if I can make it through, but I'm not confident here. I mean, that's what you said last time, but to be fair, it only gets more difficult as we head on into it. Our second qualifier for Grands, it's Snowda with the Agnes Tachyon, Ika with another Agnes Tachyon, Wool on Tokai Teo, W Agent on Gold Ship, Zone Seki with the Mihono Bourbon, Ayla Lyra with Taiki Shuttle, Sargli with the Ogre Cap, Ken with Tokai Teo, and Sawara with the Symboli Rudolph.
It's still quite the variety that we're seeing here, right?
Yeah.
Zonseki will have quite a lot of work to do in this race, but we'll have to see how exactly it goes. But the favorite's the favorite.
Yeah. We shall see. I mean, that stat line is going to be terrifying to try and overcome, even if you're rocking on the front runner pace and just trying to secure your top 3 qualification. Knowing that Simply Rudolph is waiting to strike on that final spurt definitely makes things a little scary up at the front.
Right, but let's just head right into it. This is going to be for who makes it into top 6 here, and it's going to be so important that you somehow find a way to break out of the Pace Chaser pack. And of course, if you're a front runner, we saw in the previous race, even if you're so far ahead, there's always a way to catch up.
Yep. All right. Our penultimate race here on the Tokyo turf. Once again, it's 2,400 meters as the racers make their way into the paddocks. Again, beautiful variety in the second to last qualifiers here. Just waiting it out. And I love seeing the different expressions on normal. I think Symboli Rudolph is the most like neutral expression out of all of them. I guess I wonder if Mihono Bourbon's expression ever actually changes, right? Like, she's just so stoic. I don't even know if this looks any different from Awful, but heading on into it.
Any late starts is the question here. We see that concentration procced. And Lone Wolf gets an activation here. That's so much value. No one else's Lone Wolf. That is one of the best value skills in the entire game because it's either you get that extra speed or you prevent people from getting extra speed, but there's the rushed. That is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, sad to see, but there we go. Taking up in the, front-running position as expected. We got Ayla Lyra and Zon on the Mihono Bourbon and the Taiki Shuttle.
It's looking a little bit dangerous for that Mihono Bourbon, right? That rush is going to lead to more stamina consumption. We might see a slowdown near the end and not some top speed coming in. Focusing on the gold chip right now. That gold chip made an insane comeback in the previous round to dominantly take second. So we might see a replication of that, but it all depends on if lanes open up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, right.
Still maintaining that top 2 position. Yeah, the rushed is a little bit scary for the skill activation, too.
Oh, yeah, wait. Mihono Bourbon depends on that ult. Oh, no. Zonseki is in a lot of trouble here.
Man, that's really something that you can only do so much. You can kind of cross your fingers and hope it doesn't happen. But now that it has, yeah, especially going into this final straightaway, condensing in the pack here. The front runners just barely making their way to the pace chasers. Once again, Mihono Bourbon, Taiki Shuttle, Ogre Cap, Tokai Teo, Agnes Tachyon, another Tokai Teo coming around the bend.
Taiki Shuttle still maintaining good position. Same can be said about the Mihono Bourbon, who is popping a lot of skills. No ult, but still looking quite good here. But there is a Symboli Rudolph running forward. The debuff's coming in. There's the ult as well. Ken Suwara push forward, and it's looking like the case. But that gold chip's also approaching. Whoa. Everyone in the front needs to be so careful here. Sargli also popping the Triumphant Pulse. Dangerous for the 2 front runners as they're completely getting outpaced here. It'll be gold chip, Ogre Cap, and of course, the Symboli Rudolph from Suwara getting it done.
Yeah, we're seeing the smile on Mihono Bourbon's face, but there's a little bit of heartbreak. Unfortunately, unable to access the ult that would have been the difference between that 4th place finish and being knocked out, with that 3rd place for one more chance to fight it out for number 1. But top 3 making it into this top 6 is Sawara's Symboli Rudolph, W Agent's Gold Chip, and Sargli's Ogre Cap.
Very, very close now, right? Now that it is so late into this tournament, and also because, right, with how the races are filtering each other, with the groups being split up after each race, it's very hard to get an unlucky race, right? If your Uma is good, you usually will make it forward. So these final groups are incredibly, incredibly stacked.
Exactly, yeah. So our top 6, like we said, we got Sawara, Snowda, and W Agent. And qualifying from that previous round on the other side is Bear, Scorpio, and Shaw Esther.
Yep. And Scorpio saying, no matter what happens, I'm just glad my Teo made it to finals.
Yep.
Yeah, making it to finals is basically like winning, honestly.
Exactly, yeah. Especially in, again, 163 attendees pulled up today for Carat Clash number 1. Making it into that final, that top 6. I can't do the math right now, but that is a top percentage that is insane to stay alive in.
Yep, top 6, Group AA. We ran out of letters, so we're moving on to using 2 A's apparently.
Yep.
But that's how many races have happened in this tournament. Quite a few. And we'll see how it goes here. Gotta just get in the spectate. And it looks like not everyone is ready, but everyone will be ready pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. Damn, I'm thinking about, I was doing the math in my head, and I was like, we really had 27 races, or I guess 26, and this final one is 27 as we head into Group AA, looping all the way back around through the alphabet to find our number 1 and the winner of that Rice Shower plushie that you guys have been staring so diligently on the screen.
Yeah, and everyone's talking about Sargli, an Omega Strikers player in top 6, and then Sawara shows up with the 1-year subscriber badge. I'm a striker too. That's crazy.
That's so godlike. Small world. Small world.
Really, really small world here. Speaking of, we had international representation. The Star GG player named Rice Shower is actually from Brazil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the I will say that is the very nice thing about Uma room matches, where it's, not like fighting games where you need to be playing it out, in real time, right? And such that connection issues end up making a big deal, even, coast to coast in the continental US. Now it's okay, if your Umas are all good to go, if you make it into the room before you, DQ, and you can check your Discord pings, it doesn't matter if you're one state over or if you're on the opposite side of the globe. Just make sure that you can log in on Uma Global and you're good to go.
Grand Finals approaches here. It's going to be very, very interesting here. We're just waiting on Sawara to lock into the lobby. And this is going to be a scary lobby of 6 Umas. Yeah. I think we should take our time, go through all of the builds, and really just take a look at this.
Yeah, exactly. It's our final match. The same way we let intros rock for grand finals in the FGC. We can look through all the skills, see the stat lines real quick before we see that final action. We want everybody in the chat to be well aware of what we're going into in this top 6 race.
Yep. And just waiting on Sawara here, but it's also quite the variety, right? But not as much as the earlier rounds. We're going to get 1 Symbol Rudolph, 1 Tokai Teo, 2 gold chips, and 2 Ogre caps in this final lobby.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good, but we're really just seeing like who the early favorites are.
Exactly. It's, I did not expect to see 2 gold chips here in the, Group AA in this top 6. I had a feeling that maybe she would go pretty far. The medium-long distance is kind of where we see her shine, but especially seeing her so late into things, I mean, the gold chip representation has been going crazy.
Yep. It has been indeed here. Shout out to everyone watching. We're at almost 200 viewers for an Umamusume tournament of all things.
Yeah. Thank you guys for stopping on in. Of course, you are just in time to watch our grand final. So hopefully you've been enjoying the Umamusume action. We got one more race for you guys. But again, a big shout out to Bestie and Slaw and Saya and the rest of the team for hosting Carat Clash #1. We're still trying to figure out, what we end up doing, if we're going to hold another one. But if you got, I see you guys asking in the chat, is there going to be another Carat Clash? Are we holding it again? Is this going to be a regular thing? Who knows what the future holds, but if you guys want to see it, I mean, they have a Twitter, you can reach out to them. Let Bestie and Slot and the rest of the team over there know that you are enjoying the Umamusume action so that they have a little bit more motivation to be like, all right, maybe we got to put on a Carat Clash #2 for these guys.
Yep. And thank you, Jesu, for coming on to commentate. It's been a great time so far, and we're just about ready to get it done.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to see this top 6 as we wait for Sawara to make their way into the stand. Exclamation point pace is smoking me, man. I thought I would get over it by like the 8th time it got posted, but every time I see it, I can hear it in Tazuna's voice. Like it's I thought it was safe to rage bait, man, but clearly I'm not. It's getting me every time.
And we need more of the commands. This channel has so many random commands for random people's names, and depending on like famous quotes, it's a little crazy. Everyone's
exclamation point I, huh?
But we're heading into the final match right now. It's gonna take a while for us to get through all of this, but this is the grand finals, and we're seeing some of those CPU horses as well.
There we go. But we're also seeing Scorpio coming up on the Tokai Teo. It's W Agent once again pulling up with the gold chip. Sargly with that Ogre cap. We got a few folks over on the bottom of the match as well. We got to shout out the NPCs, but we'll get to that in a sec. It's Bear on the Ogre cap. It's Sawara on the Symbol Rudolph. And one more gold chip to fight it out in top 6 from Princess Esther.
That Symbol Rudolph is who everyone's going to focus on, but the gold chips have been doing quite well so far this tournament, right? We didn't see too many of them. I think everyone opting for a Pace Chaser. But when they have shown up, and as they're this late into bracket, they have been very, very successful.
Yeah, speaking of late, right? We have Bear going in with the late surger strategy. Same thing with Sawara. But Princess Esther is sticking with the end closer, just going all the way to the back. But it's actually a pretty even setup on the strategies right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at all of the profiles here. Starting off with Scorpio. A very, very well-rounded Tokai Teo. Lots of speed is the important part, right? That's the tricky part. You can make a well-rounded Uma, but well-rounded and above 1100 speed, not too easy.
Exactly. pretty difficult to try and stay alive in the stat spread here. The Wit, you know, right in that 300 to 500 range, so maybe a little bit of RNG to have to worry about, but it seems like you have a couple stam regens to, you know, keep you posted.
Yeah, the Wit definitely on the lower end of like what people consider acceptable. But speaking of lower end, that is pretty low. The rest of the stats looking quite good. But importantly, as someone pointed out, Maverick not going to proc for this gold chip, not this time, as there are 3 of them.
Yeah, that's the most end closers I think we've seen this entire bracket in the same race. So going to be denying the buff on the Maverick there. I wonder if that's like a counter pick or just, you know, that's what's optimal for your horse. But Ogre Cap coming in here, looking pretty solid. On the higher end, I think, of Wit, still keeping up pretty well on the speed as well. Of course, we got Swinging Maestro, Breath of Fresh Air, and still a few other skills to try and keep that speed up too.
Yep, and the next is Burr. This is a very powerful Ogre Cap, and with the late Surger Ogre, we'll see. That Lone Wolf skill is sticking out to me, and if it does manage to proc, I don't think it will, though.
Yeah, we shall see. I think it actually might have just been one on late Surger, but we'll have to double check here. Heading on into it, of course, we got one of the favorites to win, you know, yesterday's champion, Sawara's Simbali Rudolph. I mean, you know, the skills are standard, and by standard, I mean stacked. But what's really stacked, if we go into the career info, like, those support cards are juiced.
Yeah, that is a max SR deck that is doing a ton of work. That must have been quite a few pulls by Sawara. And finally, there is Princess Esther's gold chip. And just looking at the stats, these aren't the craziest, but they are so well-rounded. High wit, high stamina, high power. The speed is on the lower side, but
yeah,
it's not out of the picture.
Exactly. This is a gold chip who's stopped by the library once or twice, maybe at the cost of her speed, but we shall see with that end closer. Bringing up our 9th paddock, and of course we got to shout out the NPCs real quick. Tetra Biblos.
Lone Wolf's being blocked by an NPC.
Wait, that's so fun. Wait, that's so sick.
And then there's
owned, actually owned.
Yeah, that's crazy. But Coffee Parfait as well. A really high wit here. It would be really funny if Cygames generated NPCs with a bunch of debuffs, but that is unfortunately
this one
not
has
the
Lone
case.
Wolf too.
Yeah, okay, Lone Wolf is dead. But
that's so sick.
Maybe that's what the real wrench here. But we're gonna get started with the race now and see how it goes.
Let's do it. Our final top 6, Scorpio, W Agent, Sargli, Burr, Sawara, and Princess Esther fighting it out for our top 6. Not with a few slots withstanding on these NPCs, so a couple of these exclusive skills like the Lone Wolf aren't going to proc. The Maverick with a few end closers, also not going to proc as well, but our final race here for the Trainers Cup, the Tokyo Turf 2400 meter, our grand finals of Carat Clash #1. Who do you guys think is going to be taking it home? Let me know.
Who do you think is going to take it home? Because I think this is going to be the race where someone manages to block Sawara. It hasn't happened so far, but the sample size is getting larger. It has to happen at one point.
I'm a Simbali Rudolph stan, so I got to be cheering on Sawara. I want him to take the double crown right now between Carat Clash and Live Horse Reaction, but this top 6 is stacked. Let's see it.
And so far, we aren't seeing any late starts, not seeing oh, we're seeing a bit of a rush here. That might be a huge hit to stamina consumption, and as that Tokai Teo that has been keeping up near the front of the pack and is currently at the complete front of the pack, that rush might hurt.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, it might make the early Swinging Maestro proc a little bit more efficient just because of that extra stamina take, but, you know, it's still not what you want to see so early on into the race. As we even out into that front-running position, we got NPC at the front, Ogre Cap, Tokai Teo, another NPC bringing up the middle, and in the rear, it's pretty stacked right now. We got the Ogre Cap, Simbali Rudolph, and the rest of our pack as well.
It would be really funny if an NPC won it all, but I do not think that will happen here. But it does look like Ogre Cap, if this race state continues near the end, will have a very, very easy time proccing Triumphant Pulse, and that could be the difference maker. Same can be said about Sky High Teo Step over there for Scorpio. Yeah. And right now, look at Sawara, the Ogre Caps and the gold chips in a very good position to make life difficult for the Simbali Rudolph here.
Yeah, there we go. We got the gold chip ults popping up right in the middle here as we, a few hundred meters away from that final corner. The Gourmand as well, gradually picking up the pace. Ogre Cap in the front now.
Yeah, but it looks like Sawara is blocked for now, but that is not going to be the same later on. A lane might open up, and that Symbolic Rudolph is so incredibly fast. Currently, though, it's Ogre Cap. Velocity down, debuffs going across the entire field, it looks like. It's really dangerous when those gold chips are racing along the outside edge. And look at that Symbolic Rudolph completely outside here, fighting an inside lane as well. But there's the gold chips. There's the home stretch haste. It's getting dangerous here in the final stretch. The Ogre Caps trying to find some position. Sawara trying to get in there, but it's Burr with the triumphant pulse. Sawara so far behind. It's Burr rushing forward, and I think Burr has it as it's not enough from the gold chips.
Sargly was so far ahead for so much of that race, but just barely in the end. The acceleration from Burr was enough. Not one Ogre Cap, but two crossing the finish line. Burr is your champion of Carat Clash #1.
Burr got it done. And those gold chips were the reason why Burr got it done. Those gold chips made it so impossible for Sawara to even get close.
Yeah, just so blocked in that final spurt. You know, we were thinking, okay, you have all the skills, all the stats that you need to succeed, but the gold chips blocking your way. That's the Umamusume Navy saying you cannot pass. So Sawara blocked off from that double crown here as Bear takes their first one for Carat Clash #1. Congratulations. And I see Sargly's heart breaking in the chat here because we didn't get the ult skill proc from the other Ogre Cap, which might have made all the difference.
Yeah, it was quite rough, but Burr, that late surger, really paying dividends in this one, right? Just had that full lane open, wasn't contesting with the pace chaser, didn't get debuffed, potentially, by a hesitant pace chaser or something. Maybe exclamation point pace, maybe Tazana's right.
It is difficult when you share the same strategy as many other folks, but it's difficult, right? The, late strategy I think was working out so well for Sawara, but running into that final wall was so difficult to try and break through. But that is going to be the end of Carat Clash #1. Again, our top three. With third place, it's W Agent with the gold chip. Second place, Princess Esther with the gold chip as well. I mean, getting both gold sheaves in top three is an achievement in and of itself, but a different white-haired horse. It's Ogre Cap coming in from Bear to take it all home, and that Rice Shower plushie as well. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed all the action here at Carat Clash #1.
Yeah, it was quite the fun tournament. I hope you had fun commentating as much as I did streaming it. It was quite cool, I think, to watch all of these races and everyone just optimizing for this exact track.
Yeah, I mean, it was super fun. Of course, we got to see quite a few Ogre Caps, quite a few meta picks here, but even seeing folks like Zon, like Ayla Lyra, just trying to bring their Oshis up to the front with whatever creative strategies and, hard work on the Sparks to try and bring them as far as they could. That was fun to see in and of itself. But guys, a big shout out to the Bestie and Slot team and Saya as well. This overlay, the stream overlay, I got a little bit of a behind the scenes yesterday when we were kind of prepping for the stream, but just seeing how, well laid out it was in the back end with the Google Sheets, making it so that you guys during any race can just look in the bottom left and be like, oh, there's 4 Ogre Caps and I have no idea whose is whose, but I can look at the number, I can look at the color and cross-reference it with the HUD on the top. Like, this was super sick. I think the production was, stellar. So hopefully you guys give the Bestie and Slot team and Saya their flowers as well, because this was super fun to hang out with. I had the easy part, right? I'm just looking here at the screen and I'm going, woo, Ogre Cap, woo, let's fucking go. But, they did all the hard work behind the scenes. So make sure to show them some love as well for Carat Clash #1.
All right. I know people are asking for it, and I'm not going to announce the date just yet. It'll probably be next Sunday, but we never know, but we'll see. But the format, I will say right now, it will be sprint, turf, Sapporo, 1,200 meters, right-handed.
Let's go. I'll see you guys in the Bakushino. I'll see you guys in whatever sprinters you want to bring. But Carat Clash 2 is real. Stay tuned for the date. If you guys want to make sure that you catch that date as well and get the re-announcement of those conditions, make sure to follow Bestie and Slot on Twitter as well.
Yep. And, of course, more details to come. But thank you, everyone, for watching. And, Jisoo, any final words you want to say?
No, I mean, otherwise, I hope you guys are enjoying Uma Global. Like, you know, all the silly posts on Twitter. You guys are having a damn good time finding out a new favorite horse every single day. So hope you guys keep that energy up, whether it's, you know, farming for sparks or just trying out new dialogue routes on horses you've never seen or, you know, played before in the game. I've been having a damn good time seeing you guys enjoy one of my favorite series as well. So it's a big shout out to you guys for stopping on by on this fine Sunday night. It's a shout out to the Bessie and Slot team and Saya as well for making sure that everything was so well run on the back end. But yeah, it's been a damn good time and hopefully you guys enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
Peace.